What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of having probably, I mean, it's legit, right? It's set in stone, the longest reigning NWA Pacific Northwest champion, right? He is the owner and proprietor of BCW Worldwide, that is Blue Collar Wrestling, right? And they have a companion podcast under BCW Worldwide, and which he is the executive producer for. He is the one and only, the franchise player, Bad Blood. Yo, but I know him as BJ. So BJ, what's going on, my man?
Brother, man, it's always a pleasure to be on live with my boy Woods. You can check us out every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. PST, BCW Worldwide Live. We just shoot the shit. We talk wrestling. Woods has been on there. We watch old videos. We watch some of the highlights of the show. We play games. We mess with the other wrestlers. We do interviews. It's just a good time, man. It's just a good time.
Damn right. I'm subscribed to all of their social medias, and I warmly encourage you guys to do the same. But I'm going to take a kind of a pivot and extend my heartfelt condolences to you and your family. You, over the last couple months, lost your beloved mother. So extending my condolences to you, and this one's for her.
Sweet. Thank you very much. She would like that too. My mom was kind of a very quiet person to people she didn't know, but when she knew you, she was like she was like Ric Flair. She was out there. She was very energetic, over the top sometimes, and yeah, she would totally like this. Like if she was here right now, she'd be sitting in the back. I mean, she's here now. She's in my trophy case. But if she was like physically right here, she'd be walking through here, talking shit. you know.
Well, I'm super honored to be able to be one of the ones that she might have liked. So I appreciate that. And I mean, your mom was, I mean, very instrumental in you and your love for pro wrestling. As an early, I mean, your early development as a human being, right? And I mean, you actually grew up here in LA before moving to the Pacific Northwest, right?
Yeah, I from Portland. I mean, I'm in Portland right now, but from San Pedro, California. I grew up wrestling in Southern California. Places like EWF with Jesse Hernandez. Um, all the lucha companies, MWF with Kiss and Charisma, the Chivos. You know, um, Pretty much every wrestling organization from XPW to from Slammers Wrestling Gym to Gil's Garage down in East LA when the Glow Girls were training. Bill Anderson's IWF, I believe it was called. Pretty much every company there was in SoCal, from San Diego, from Tijuana, Mexico, all the way up to Sacramento, California. I've been pretty much all of them, and I've watched the progression of so many guys. I mean, just like Pinoy Boy turns into T.J. Perkins, the Cubanitos, or the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that other bullshit. Frankie Kazarian being the future, and Samoa Joe, guys like Tom Howard of the UPW fame. Even when I was down at the Inoki Dojo training with Eric Watts, and um, you know, look at him now, Willie Mack and Sexy Chino, guys like that. So yeah, I've been around. I'm pretty fucking old.
Yeah, you don't look it though. You don't look it.
I feel it. 28 years in the business. I'm 46, and trust me, every bump, every bruise, every every torn tendon, I feel that every morning when I get up.
Woo, that's rough. That's rough. But I mean, 20 years in the game, there had to be a reason why you got into, I mean, the wonderful world of pro wrestling. And I mean, what was your first impressions or perceptions of that as a fan?
Um, so watching wrestling, I remember my mom used to get all the kids in the neighborhood, and we'd watch like wrestling, like she'd like pay per view, and popcorn and pizza, and it was like a fucking party, man, every time. And I remember WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 3. These guys were like all bigger than life, like huge huge dudes. And I remember my dad took me um, to the LA Sports Arena, and that's when WrestleMania was like in three different places at three different at the same time, you know. And I believe the main event was Hogan and Bundy in a big blue bar steel cage.
Yeah.
I totally was like, and I remember the blue, Owen Hart was there as the Blue Blazer, and you know, back I was like, dude, I want to fucking do that, right? Um, but I was always a small dude. I'm like, I want to do that. One day I'm going to do that. And my dad was like, sure, one day you'll do that. Yeah, one day you'll do that. You can do anything you want to do, you know. But he didn't really believe that. You know, my mom's always like, one of these days you're going to be up on that big screen, and I'm going to tell all my friends that my son is this wrestler, blah blah blah, right? And when my mom and dad got divorced, I went to go live with my grandmother because I didn't want to be in the middle of the custody battle. So I went to a neutral person, and I remember that at that time I was like maybe like 13, 14, and I was starting to get into some shit because you live in LA, so you always getting some shit. And my grandmother decided to take me and put me in amateur wrestling. She's like, you're gonna learn something that's gonna help you channel that anger and that frustration into something positive. So all through junior high and beginning of high school, I was wrestling, AAU and all that other bullshit, right? And I remember one day I had come home and I heard this noise in the neighbor's yard. You know, I look over the fence and it's Mondo Guerrero, Chavo Jr., Hector Guerrero, and I believe it was I don't know if Ray Jr. was there or not, but I think Miguel Remister Sr. was there. And they were bumping around doing their shit, right? And I look over the fence and I'm like, what are you guys doing? You know? And they look over and start laughing and said, we're wrestling. I said, oh, you do that fake shit. And I'm like, I'm a real wrestler. And they were like, oh, yeah, come over here, show us your real wrestling. So I went over there and they kicked my ass. And I came back the next day and they kicked my ass again. And then they kicked my ass again. And for week after week after week, they just kicked the dog shit out of me. And then one day, Mondo says, do you want to learn how to do this for real? I said, well, yeah. He said, okay, here's an address. Every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, you need to be here. And now I lived in San Pedro. Now, I was like 15. I didn't have a car. So I had to catch a bus. So I literally had to get up at 4 in the morning, ride a bus from San Pedro to fucking East Los Angeles every Saturday morning to Gil's gym. Gil Ariano was a old wrestler, you know, old luchador back in the day with AAA, um, and he had a legit garage. Like he was a mechanic. He fixed cars, and like for $5 a day, you can go in the gym and you can work out. So myself, King Fabiano, and a guy named the Bronx Bomber, we would go every Saturday, and some other guys like Tim Talltree and the Shadow Man, James Boone, and all these guys. We would go down there and we would train in lucha at this little garage. Like literally, it could have been maybe 500 square feet, if that. There was a ring, and the walls were so close. And this is where I got to like finally like learn about the business because we would go in there and we would run the ropes and they teach us to do the rolls and we run the ropes. And I remember the very first injury I ever had. It wasn't like taking a back bump or a errant punch or anything like that. I literally ran the ropes and the wall was so close to the ropes on one side of the ring. And they specifically said, don't run the wall. But they said it in Spanish. I didn't fucking know Spanish. So I ran the wall. And I hit it. Boom! Bust a bursal sac in my elbow.
Oh,
Never in my life. And I've been in wrestling 28 years. I've blown patella tendons. I have a pin in my knee. I've separated my shoulder. That was the worst pain I have ever felt in my entire life. So, you know, they wouldn't let me train anymore until they healed. So I will still go there every week because once you, it's like a drug. I tell people wrestling's like a drug. You once you get that first contact, you want to keep going back for more. You want to keep going back for more. So I would go every week, and I'd sit there with a pen and paper, and I'd write down shit, And I remember that Bill Anderson, Tim Patterson, and Louis Spicoli. They were like my idols at the time because they got to wrestle in Mexico. They were doing the mercenary gimmick, and that's why I credit Bill Anderson with a lot of things. Um, by the way, he just retired. Happy retirement, Bill. Um, he retired from his legit shoot job, and they would tell me you can come early if you want, and you can roll around the ring. You can get your rolls in. You can get a little practice in before training starts because we're not gonna allow you to train because you're hurt. So I went down there at like 7 in the morning one Saturday, and lo and behold, there's all these amazingly beautiful women in the ring. They were training the Glow Girls, the original Glow Girls, Hollywood, Lightning Sharusa, Royal Hawaii, all these chicks in the ring, and I'm like, oh my god! Like, so I would go there every Saturday at 7 a.m. and I would go up to the second level and I would sit there and watch the Glow Girls train. So that's how I got to be good friends with all the Glow Girls too. So yeah, I mean, it, like I said, man, wrestling, like we were discussing earlier off the air, wrestling like equates to so many things in life. Like, my for me, like having my first crushes and them being wrestlers, female wrestlers, um, to like modern day era of watching so many guys grow up in the business and me growing up in the business and now being in the business for almost 3 decades. It's like now it's time for me to start giving back to guys and start doing things to help other guys, paying it forward because guys like the Bronx Bomber, guys like Dan Fabiano, guys like Bobby Bradley, guys like Mondo Guerrero, who gave me my first match ever. Um, guys like that, guys like Dan Farron, Johnny Legend. A lot of your viewers probably don't know these guys, but they were like big names back in the day. Um, just B Boy, um, just all these guys. I feel like honestly, I feel honored to even be like, hey man, I had a part in all of these guys. Even John Cena's bitch ass. I mean, I had a part. I don't like John Cena. I've had a part in being, I was part of UPW for a while, and Christopher Daniels, him and what was the guy's name? Um, I can't think of his name right now. I know once we're off the air, it's gonna come to me. But Christopher Daniels used to run training at the Raw Center in El Segundo on Friday nights. And it would be guys like Andy Van Dam and Prodigy and like all these super young guys that were like we would go Scorpio Sky, Chris Bosch, Quicksilver, those guys. We would all go and train on Friday nights at the Raw Center, and then Saturday there'd be a like El Segundo was like the Raw Center on Friday, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it was like Marina Del Rey or Manhattan Beach, something like that was on Saturday, and they'd have like what we call Raw. We have light shows, UPW light shows, where we'd actually do like matches and shit, and um, they would pull us all together and say, hey, we're gonna grade you on this, and the Ballards, the best tag team I've ever had the pleasure of being in the middle of the ring with. I've wrestled a lot of guys, Shelly and Saban, you know, Amazing Red, Brian Excel, um, the Pride and Power, all those guys. I wrestled all those dudes, but the Ballards, best tag team, like that was my dream match. I got to wrestle the Ballards twice. Shane and Shannon, best teachers ever. I urge you, if you get a chance to get trained by those guys, do not fucking turn it down.
Ooh. And Tyson Duckworth says, slap off. Darden versus Cena. With and Tyson Duckworth is, representing Alaskan Fighting Championship. He is their 145-pound champion for Alaska Fighting Champion. So kudos to you guys in Alaska.
Shout out to them because Alaska's cold as fuck right now.
Yeah. So my goodness, I want to because you were mentioning about the WWF kind of side of things and going to WrestleMania. But did you get a bit of the Grand Olympic Auditorium, LA Territory Wrestling?
You know, that was my dream to wrestle in the Olympic Auditorium, and unfortunately, I never got a chance to because it closed down, and then it came back, and I wasn't working with the company that came back there. And by the time I got a chance to work for that company, they had not ran the Olympic Auditorium anymore. But I did get to live another one of my dreams. I got to wrestle in the Cow Palace. That's that right
I
there
was
to me.
born in San Francisco, so that means the
You have
world.
bro, the ghost in that building, bro, was so fucking amazing. It was just I walked in there and I'm like Bruno Sammartino wrestled here, like Ric Flair wrestled here, and I got to wrestle on a show that had so many big names, like it was crazy. I got invited to do the Wrestle Fan Fest pay per view. Kevin Kleinrock was running it with Big Vision Entertainment and some other people, and Kevin's an amazing guy too. So shout out to Kevin Kleinrock. Um, it was Friday night. It was Friday night. The AWA was where had a, no. The NWA had a wrestling show Friday night. Saturday was like Kevin Kleinrock's wrestling portion of it,
Right.
and then it was MMA also that same day.
Wow.
Sunday it was the AWA, and myself and LTP, we got to wrestle against Sexy Chino and Johnny Goodtime, and our Kevin Matheson that was wrestling us now.
Yeah, Matheson, one half of the
Yeah,
Rock Nest Monsters at the time.
it was him and Sexy Chino. Yeah, I know, right? It was just so fucking funny. And the AWA World Tag Team Champions, the Heartbreak Express. It was a triple threat for the tag team titles. So much fun, so much fun. I mean, Kevin broke out the Nintendo pad. The it was ridiculous, but like thousands of people were there. And it was like that was the first time I met Shad, JTG, Crime Time. They were there. I tell a story all the time about the pro wrestling, the highspots.com table. We were sitting there doing autographs. So it's LTP and myself, and it's Crime Time, and we're sitting together doing autographs, right? And Virgil comes over. Now Virgil and Ted DiBiase were supposed to be at the table next to us, but there was like legit heat between DiBiase and Virgil at the time. So Virgil was sitting there by himself. DiBiase wasn't there. So we're sitting there signing autographs, and the guy from High Spots brings all these belts out, puts them on the table. Brings up the $1 million belt, puts it right in front of Virgil. Says, "Oh man, I'll be right back, guys. I'll be back in a while. Can you guys watch the table?" So Shad and JC look at me. I look at LTP, and I'm like I don't want to watch this fucking table. And then they were like, "Yeah, we got you, bro." So he walks away. Virgil sits down. Says, "Huh, this is fucking awesome." Picks up the $1 million belt, puts it on his waist. Right? People are coming over and they're taking pictures with him and stuff. He's a $1 million champion, right? And then Virgil was gone. Like we were signing autographs, we turn around, Virgil was gone. So the guy that owns High Spots comes back, sits down, he's doing his thing, and he's like, "Hey, where's the $1 million belt?" Now, I'm not throwing any shade on nobody. I'm not spreading any gossip. But I was just saying, when the belt was there, a certain person was there. When the belt was gone, a certain person was gone. I'll leave it at that.
So I'll go on record. Fuck Virgil, right? Here's the thing. So my first live pro wrestling event that I attended was actually when we were living in Vegas at the Silver Nugget Casino, where it was like way, way off the strip. You essentially the arena was down below the casino, so you had to kind of
Oh yeah.
yeah, right. So I mean, there was like, I mean, Rob Van Dam pre ECW, like right in between. This had to be like 94, 95, right? He was right in between Robbie V and WCW and what he would become in ECW, right? Him, Sabu, Iron Sheik,
Fuck
Jimmy.
Iron Sheik.
Oh,
I go to
okay,
too.
all right, all right. So
Sheik, if you
we're gonna
watch
get
him, fuck you.
we're gonna get to that. But so basically, long story short, you know, I I was a fan of Virgil because I was like, hey, he looks like me, and he went up against evil, $1 million man, blah blah blah, $1 million man beat the shit out of Dustin Rhodes, whatever, whatever, right? So like, fuck Ted DiBiase, yay Virgil, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the fucking merch table, I'm at the gimmick table, fucking trying to get my autographs and everything like that, my Polaroids and shit, and I probably was like, fuck, maybe about 7 or 8, right? And here's my parents, right behind me, and then my little sister, and Virgil comes up to my mom, like fucking people were in line. Virgil comes up to my mom and fucking starts hitting on her and being like, "Hey, would you like to fucking be my valet the next time,
What?
whatever?" And gives in front of my dad. Virgil gives my mom his number. And
Wow.
my mom relentlessly, the fucking Fijian woman that she was, relentlessly fucking taunted my dad. Well, guess what, Roscoe? Like, I could be a valet, like, whatever. And yeah, so fuck Virgil, man. You ruined
Wow.
my childhood, you fuck.
Wow. I'd have punched him in his throat for that shit. I had a similar incident like that at the Great Western Forum during a WCW show. I got invited to come to a WCW show. I don't know if you remember Sue Green. She was a wrestler back in the 80s and 90s. She was part of the NWA back then, and that was my thing. I didn't want to be a WWE guy. I wanted to be an NWA guy because like NWA was wrestling, you know. So I go to the show and Mondo Guerrero's there, and I'm all excited because Mondo invited me and blah blah blah. So I took my mom, right? And my mom was born and bred in Chicago. My mom was a Bulls fan to the day she died. You know, Bulls had a horrible record. My mom was still riding for them. So I walk in there with my mom, and she's wearing a Chicago Bulls jersey. And this is the reason why I didn't realize it until someone pointed out to me a couple of years ago that I wear a lot of red and black, and it's because it's been ingrained in me my whole life. You know, my mom's a Bulls fan. Like red and black is their shit. So I go in there and I'm talking to like a guy sees me from a AIWF show in Montclair.
Right.
I mean in Maywood. So the guy sees me from the show. He's like, "Hey man, Jack Stud is there." Jack Stud was there, and I'm like, "Hey," I'm talking to him, right? I'm so excited because like these are guys that I was like enamored with. Like, wow, these are my peers, you know. So we're talking shop, and AC Green of the fucking Lakers walks in, Jerry curl dripping, all that shit, right? Now AC Green is supposed to be the super Christian guy, virgin, all this other stuff, right? AC Green walks in with a gang of people, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, AC Green!" Right? And he walks over and he's talking to the guy next to my mom, and he goes, "Hey, hey, get that fucking bullshit out of my house, bitch!" And I turned to him, and like the people that are with turned, and I said, "What did he just say?" And he said it again. And I literally was about to just jump on him. And my mom was like, "Nah, don't you talk to me like that, you piece of shit. That's why the Bulls beat your ass in your house." Boom. My mom dropped the mic and walked away on him.
Bam. Boom.
My mom,
And fuck
my
AC
mom,
Green.
my mom was a savage before the savage was being popular. So yeah, fuck AC Green. You Jerry Curl dripping, you piece of shit. Yeah, fuck you. So yeah, and I was in the Great Western Forum, NWA. It was Great American Bash on tour, 1989. No, 1992. Great American Bash on tour. All right,
Fuck.
it was it was the Bunkhouse Stampede, and Dusty Rhodes won the first Bunkhouse Stampede there that night
Damn, that's gotta be fucking dude.
against that
And
big ass boot.
you know what's weird? Rick Knox actually on his social media pages has been sharing a
I know.
lot of those pictures from that era. So I mean, yeah, again, that's the same Rick Knox that you see every what is it Wednesday night on AEW,
W. Yep.
right? So
Another guy, another guy's so crazy. Like all of these guys, man. Like I said, I feel lucky to even be like in the conversation when it comes to these guys. I sit back and I watch the new guys. Like I remember Willie Mack. Willie Mack first started out. Now Willie Mack's fucking big time with Impact Wrestling. TJP was a skinny little Filipino boy, Pinoy boy, but he was so technically sound even as a little boy. Like damn. Then Rocky Romero. Now look, he's like a big VP for fucking New Japan. You know what I mean? The Bucks. I remember the Bucks when they were Mr. Instant Replay and Slick Nick, and they wrestled in the backyard of their fucking house. And the best Buck was their brother Malachi. So yeah, he was good. But Nick right now, Nick's the best of all of them now. But even that, like like watching all those guys, and now like Simon Lotto and Steven Andrews, I think they're calling themselves High Risk or something. They're, in my opinion, the next hot tag team to come out of SoCal. They've been on BTE a lot too. They were the what they call them, the local jobber boys. So
which one?
Steven Andrews and Simon
Oh yeah,
Lotto.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, like all these guys are not getting their shot, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud to see that I have partnered some of those guys like Eric Watts. Um, me me and LTP and Willie Mack, we gave him his name, Big Nasty, as a joke because I'm like, you're a big nasty motherfucker, right? You're sick. He was just starting out in New Japan at the New Japan dojo with us, and I'm like, you're a big nasty dude. Like you're 6'8". Like you should be tossing dudes like a salad, you know. And not like a big nasty Eric Watts walk around beating the shit out of people, having
Yeah.
5-star match, like having really great matches with guys. And I'm surprised he's not signed. Like when he went to Tough Enough, I was like, he needs to get signed. NXT, AEW, MLW, somebody needs to sign him. I mean, he's on fire right now. Him and Willie Mack, you know.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, Willie has been, I guess, the star of the show when it comes to Zoom Happy Hour.
Yeah, Willie walks in and he's like Tupac, all eyes on him. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
Willie's a damn fool,
So,
but he's
so I
fun
mean,
and he's real.
who
Like that's the thing about him. He's real. Like what you
he
see on
is?
it's Willie. Like he's not like coming up with a gimmick or anything like that. Like that's legitly Willie Mack. So if you're watching Willie Mack on TV, that's the same Willie Mack that you'll see if you're rolling around Las Vegas somewhere and he walk up to you and slap you in the face with a fucking cup of noodles or something. That's Willie Mack.
Yep, 100%, 100%. And I even think I got one night coming back from another podcast, like I got butt dialed by you and Willie, and I probably didn't. I was I was the least liked on that fucking call, and I was the least like black guy there, and yeah, it didn't work out so well. And Willie has never talked to me again. So there's
Are you
that.
serious?
I know there's no heat. There's no heat. It's
See
just
now I have to play peacemaker between you and Willie. I'm gonna
yeah.
call him like, bro.
I think it's funny.
I'm just having to go on your show.
Maybe that might work. That fucking
That
might work.
that will be your
I might
highest rated show ever.
yeah, slip in those DMs. I'm just saying. Now, in terms of you were talking about the Guerreros, right? And obviously, when you were when you were challenged or challenging them to be like, oh wait, I'm a wrestler, you do the fake shit. Did you know who they were?
No, no, no. And the thing is, like I watched a bunch of NWA stuff. I was like, I started like as crazy as it sounds, living in California. I got to watch NWA from Florida, so I watched championship wrestling from Florida all the time. So I knew who Hector Guerrero was. He showed up on NWA from Florida a lot. I didn't know who Mondo was. I didn't know who Chavo was, and it was like when I finally realized who they were, I was like, wow, I was fucking stupid. Like, but they took their time, you know, and they're like very very real people, you know. And one thing I learned in the 28 years I've been in this business, no matter who you are, we all do the same thing. You just maybe some people do it on a bigger scale. Simple, you know. There's a guy that I always give a lot of credit to, Brutal Bob Evans, formerly of Ring of Honor. Hanging with Bob, you know, he does like seminars and he teaches guys. Bob is the most down to earth, real dude. Like he's so, what's what I'm looking for? He's so honest, but very respectful, and everyone respects Bob Evans. You know, I haven't heard one person out of all the people I know in the business have anything bad to say about Brutal Bob. Like he's that him. He's that guy. He's really good, and he's none of those guys that's very down to earth and tells you like it is, and he is he is one of those guys who's really respectful, and he shows you how to be respectful, and he spends his time, um, basically like, how can I serve you? You know, how can I do this to you? And I always tell people, allow me to help you to help me to help you. And people always, what does that mean? Well, you have to allow me to help you in order for me to help you. Bob, I got that from Bob because that's the way Bob is. And Mondo and the rest of the Guerreros are like that. Like they're all like that. You know, as a matter of fact, Hector Guerrero's birthday was 2 days ago, and you can't post on his Facebook page. So I always send him a little message, and he's always like quick to respond to me, like, "Hey, thank you very much, Emmanuel." You know, like I'm like, wow, like I get to talk to guys like this, and I'm like who am I? I'm just a dude who was fortunate enough to be around those dudes, you know, and like I mean, I used to have this when I go on podcasts. I call it the put over hour. I put over everybody. Like if anyone's ever had a positive um, mention in my career, then I put them over. And I remember Kevin Quinn. That's the other guy. It was Christopher Daniels and Kevin Quinn. They used to do the training at the Raw Center, and I didn't know Kevin Quinn was. I remember when I first heard his name, he was with Windy City Wrestling in Chicago back in the day. Him and Chris Daniels. So for them to come out here and work for Rick Bassman and build, you know, build like superstars of today, like it's so crazy that, like I seriously like talking to you now. I'm sitting back here and I'm like, wow, like I have really lived a very interesting interesting life. You know, yeah, it's like a wow, it's like a what's
Well,
wrong?
you know, it's funny you were talking about the Guerreros, right? I mean, I think Chavo Senior and Hector at I think it was Wrestle Reunion, right, in 2011, and I wasn't I wasn't in the best place. Like I just lost my dad. This had to be January of 2011, and I had lost my dad literally weeks before on Christmas morning of 2010, right? And you know, I just wanted to feel good, so I fucking, you know, got a VIP ticket to the fucking, you know, Wrestle Reunion, and I just, you know me, I'm a fucking nerd for like, you know, combat sports history, right? You know, MMA, pro wrestling, it's all the same to me, you know, and just like the articles, right, of what makes it special, right? So there's there's Hector and Chavo Senior fucking hanging out there, and they've got their own booth, and they've got like belts and fucking robes and shit like that. So like I you know, fucking like, you know, pay the money and whatever, Mark, all right? But they fucking, dude, within like literally 10 seconds of me fucking handing Hector the fucking $10 bill or whatever, I am in fucking Hector's sombrero.
Yep.
I had I had Hector's fucking, you know, bandoletto, right? And
Mhm.
then I'm literally wearing fucking Gory's robe. They put Gory's
That's the
robe
way they
on me.
are, man. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
And then wearing fucking Chavo Senior's fucking title from Grand Olympic. like
Mhm.
literally within 10 seconds. And I was just like, and they were like, brother, whatever. Like, I mean,
You're
I've never felt so much love.
you're family with those guys, man. And it's so crazy because it's like you look at them like you look at like they're like Lucha's first family. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you're like, fuck, these guys are like so down to earth and so cool. You know, and that's the thing. Like that's why I say like I feel so lucky and so fortunate to even have like situations like that in my life. You know, a lot of these younger guys that are coming up in the business now, they don't understand like this shit is a privilege. Like not everyone can do this. This is a wrestling is a fraternity. You know, it's a legit fraternity, and I always tell people, real workers, real wrestlers know real wrestlers. Like we all like come together at some point in time. You know, like classic example. Um, I told you I grew up watching NWA. You know, so I'm watching the NWA, and all I ever wanted to do was be part of the NWA. So the NWA came back to Oregon, and BCW became part of the NWA. So Bruce Stark was the president of the NWA at the time, and Bruce was a great guy. You know, James Beard, the best referee in fucking just James Beard is the shit. Uh, um, Shout out to James Beard. I hope you get better. He wasn't feeling too well, and he was looking at having some surgery done. So shout out to him. So James Beard and guys like Robert Langdon and NBA Texoma and Terry Harper, she just passed away. Those are the people that helped me like live my NWA dreams. You know what I mean? I became the NWA Pacific Northwest champion, and I held the title longer than anybody in the history. Like if you go to Wikipedia, if you look at history books, I've held the record longer than anybody else in history. And I remember the day I broke the record for holding the title. The grappler, the guy who held it prior, sent me a message on Facebook with his phone number and said, "Give me a call, kid." And I'd known Lane from prior, but I didn't realize that he had watched my whole what's been going on. So I text him, and he goes, "I didn't say text me. I said call me." So then I call him, and I'm like, how are you doing, sir? And he's like, "Congratulations, kid, you fucking did it." And I'm like, what did I do? Like, I'm so like, what did I do wrong? He's like, I'm proud of you. You keep doing what you're doing, man. You are the future of the NWA in the Northwest. You need to continue doing what you're doing because you're making it live again. We were running shows every Sunday night, and rain or shine, snow, blizzards, whatever. BCW is always packed, 300 or more every week. So we were doing it, and we made weekly wrestling work. Because back in the olden days, when the NWA was up here running roughshod in Portland, they were running, doing 3,000 4,000 people at the Coliseum out here in the
Yeah.
sports arena out here. So that was my dream. I was part of the NWA, so I became the NWA Pacific Northwest champion, and then doors started opening. Went to North Carolina, started traveling all around the country. I ended up doing a huge title for title match, NWA Pacific Northwest Championship versus the NWA Continental Heavyweight Championship. So I wrestled Will Huckabee in front of 400 people, won that title, became the Continental Champion. So there I am holding two titles. Um, so I'm like living my dream. I'm freaking out, like, oh my God. And I've always said that I want to do this, and I want to leave my mark, like from not just from myself, but for my kids and my kids' kids and things like that. But most importantly, I want to make my mom proud of me, and I became the longest reigning NWA Continental Heavyweight Champion in history too. So now I've got two history making reigns. And currently I'm the AIWF American Heavyweight Champion. And I'm like almost at 1,000 days as champion. So I'm the longest reigning champion there too. And I hustle. Like it was instilled in me by guys like Mondo Guerrero, by guys like Billy Anderson, like guys like Tim Patterson, guys like Louis Spicoli, guys like Bob Bradley, Guys like Bill Judd, get out there and do the work, man. Because if you want to be successful in this business, you gotta hustle. Wrestling is just like any side hustle you got on the street. You gotta be out there boxing, MMA, fucking ballet, whatever it is that you want to be the best at. It's you get out there and you hustle, you bust your ass, and you do it. Um, so when I finally did all these things, and my mom was in a home, you know, in California, and I would travel down there a lot. And I would laugh so hard because when I walk in there, they'd say, "Oh yeah, that's Deborah's son, the wrestler." And my mom told me that when and it didn't resonate with me until my mom had passed away. The 2 days after my mom had passed away, I had flown down to California because she passed away of COVID, so I couldn't be physically in the hospital with her, but I was watching everything on an iPad. I flew down to California to meet the nurse because she had a nurse. Her name was Danny, and Danny violated every rule there was for me. Like she would call me every night um, and talk to me and let me talk to my mom. Well, my mom wasn't talking because COVID really fucks with you. Like it shuts down your motor skills. It shuts your body down. Like it's like it's like taking a pen and sticking it in a balloon, and the air is coming out of the balloon. Well, then someone grabs that balloon and squeezes the balloon, and all the air comes out faster, and then it stops. COVID is like that. So she would call me every day, and talk to me. She snuck her cell phone in, and she would like put her cell phone up, and I would video chat with my mom. Even though she wasn't supposed to do that. Um, but I flew to California because I wanted to meet her. And when I went to the hospital, I bought the whole nursing staff like lunch. I feel like that, and my mom, because they were all like, so real with me, and they were like supportive. So I get to the hospital, and I go meet the chief of staff, chief of nursing, and she takes me, puts me in the fucking full on hazmat suit. Like it's like, you ever see that movie 12 Monkeys? Fucking
Wow.
full on hazmat suit with the mask and everything, right? I go in there and I'm talking to the nurses, and the lady walks up. She goes, "That's Deborah's son, the wrestler." And I stop and think about it. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I am." So at that moment, I felt like I made my mom proud, and all the years of beating my body up and trying to entertain people and doing all of this shit, it wasn't just for me. And now I feel like I did it, and I'm like dedicating the rest of my career, which is whatever's left of it, to doing that. You know, all the Make a Wish Foundation stuff that I do, and all the charitable organizations that I do stuff for. That means a lot to me. But knowing that I made my mom proud now, and that I set a goal and I did it, that makes me feel really good. Um, but the NWA thing, my mom, she loved Hulk Hogan, and she loved Roddy Piper. And when Roddy Piper, I live in Hillsboro, Oregon, and that's a suburb of Portland. Um, I remember going to this. We have a grocery store here called Fred Meyer, and I would see Roddy Piper's wife, Fred Meyer, all the time. Kitty's always in fucking Fred Meyer, right? So Piper sends me a Facebook message one time, and everybody here knows Piper. Piper was a fucking cool dude. Like he was the most like out there dude, ever. He would come to watch shows and hide in the back and watch the show and not say anything to anybody. Piper was like that. Um, so he had sent me a text one time, a Facebook message, and he was like, "Hey, I want you to know I'm proud of you, kid. Keep making noise because the more noise you make, the more people are gonna know who you are." So I was like, thank you very much. And he says, "My wife says hi, by the way," right? So I laugh at that because I see her at fucking Fred Meyer all the time. So I see her at Fred Meyer like 2 days after that, and I say, Kitty, I always see you here. You must live really close. And she goes, "I live down the street from you." I said, what? She goes, yeah, I live on the street from you. They literally lived like fucking 3 blocks from my house the whole time. And I never
Wow.
knew it. I never knew it. You know, he used to own a garage here back in the day, and like he was always like there. A lot of guys that in the area like C.W. Bergstrom, um, the Grappler, Buddy Rose used to live here. Like all these guys, they all live in like the same area. You know, so it's my mom totally was like wow, like all these guys, it's crazy. I remember the very first time I told my mom I wanted to be a wrestler. She says, well, let's find you a wrestling school, right? And I'm like, okay. So I remember I don't know where she got the information from, but Woody Farmer used to run a wrestling school up in the Bay Area. Now, keep in mind, I live in San Pedro, which is SoCal, and the Bay Area is like where you grew up,
Yeah.
Like
It's a
that was a
5 hour trip.
yeah, that'd be a long trip. So I remember my mom said, hey, this guy is on the phone, he wants to talk to you, and he's barking like a fucking dog. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I pick up the phone and I'm talking to the guy, and it's Mad Dog Busawyer.
Whoa.
He's running the school up there in the Bay Area. Totally tripped me out. I'm like, so I'm starting to like, I guess where I'm going with this is like, I'm starting to see like all these big name guys, like all these like guys that I watch on TV. Like, wow, all these amazing guys, they're just like me. Like we were talking earlier about how the podcast thing,
Mhm.
feeling confident. Like I didn't start feeling confident in myself or even being in this business until those guys start talking to me like I'm talking to you. And then I realized, wow, like these guys were in WrestleMania. These guys are, doing this and this and that, and like wow, like they're just like me. You know, um, the reason why I don't like Iron Sheik, I was 17, I believe, and we were doing a wrestling show up in Northern California, and Sheik was the wrestler, the big name guy that was on the show,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, oh my god, Iron Sheik. He was a former WWF champion, right? So I don't know, for some reason my watch is running, but um, I'm the guy who gets tasked to go pick up the Sheik from the airport. So I'm like, yeah, man. Like I'm bragging to the guys who's training. Like, I'm about to go get on a Sheik, fools. I'm the guy, right? Get in the car, go to the airport. Get to the airport, excited but nervous all at the same time because I just seen this guy wrestle Hulk Hogan. You
Yeah.
know, I seen this guy wrestle Bob Backlund. Like, what the fuck, So I go grab him. He comes off the plane and I'm walking there. And this is Fresno Airport, so they really didn't have any TSA at the time. So I go up there and I grab his bag. He goes, "That's what you do when you're young. It's like being a young boy in Japan." I grab his bag and I'm wheeling his bag, and Casro's feet, Sheik's feet, were really messed up. So he's hobbling like a fucking gnome. So I'm walking ahead of him. So I got his bag and I pull in the bag, and all of a sudden this dog comes up to the bag and starts sniffing the bag, and then starts growling at the bag. And I'm like pulling the fucking bag, like leave it alone. And then the police officer was like, "Is this your bag?" And I'm like, "Well, no, sir. I'm carrying it for." And I turn around and fucking Sheik is nowhere to be found. So they say, "Come with us. Come with us." Okay, I'm 17 years old. I'm not knowing what the fuck's going on. So they take me to this room. Take the bag. Take the bag to another room. So they strip off all your clothes to your underwear. So I'm sitting in this room. Now, you ever see that movie Black Panther? Remember the part where they have Claw and he's in that fucking room and he's singing to himself in the room and it's like a
Yeah.
glass wall. I'm in that room and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? Rocking like, what the fuck is going on? Am I going to jail? What's going on? So the cop comes in the room, sits down across from me, says, "Is that your bag?" I said, "No, sir. I'm a wrestler." And he goes, "You're too small to be a wrestler, kid. What's going on for wrestling?" Well, I work for this wrestling company. I'm training. and it's me paying my dues that I'm carrying his bag. He goes, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, yes, sir. I'm sure." He says, "Okay, I'll be right back." So he's gone. And it seemed like fucking forever, man. Like it could be like an hour or something. I'm like sitting there sweating, freaking out. Comes back in the room, throws my clothes on the table, says, "Get dressed, you can go." I'm like, "Okay, where's the bag?" "Don't worry about the bag. You can go." I'm like, "Okay." So I put my clothes on. And I'm starting to freak out because like, oh my god, now I lost Iron Sheik's bag. I can't find Iron Sheik. I'm gonna get fucking fired. Go out of the room. Sheik is standing there with his bag. And he looks at me and goes, "I fucking got you good, kid. I fucking ribbed you good." And he starts laughing. And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Little did I know that Iron Sheik has glaucoma. So he had a half a pound of weed in the bag at the time.
Half a pound?
Well, it could have been more. I don't know. But it was a fucking big ass brick of weed. Like this motherfucker's traveling with medicinal weed at the time. And I'm like, you let me carry that shit? Like I'm 17 years old. I could have fucking went to jail. You know? So fuck Iron Sheik.
Wow.
And then a lot of
Holy
people are gonna be
shit.
like, wow, this dude just disrespected a WWE legend. Fuck Iron Sheik.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there had to be a reason why Billy Robinson stretched the shit out of him. Back in the AWA. Well, not AWA. This is pre-AWA, but Vern Gagne's farm. And Billy Robinson, not good coach and shit like that. He stretched the Sheik 9 ways to Sunday.
I mean, some of these guys, man, like I mean, we do ribs all the time. Like I put ribs on people all the fucking time. For you people don't know what that means, we play jokes on each other all the time. That's that's how we show each other our love. You know, um, there's a guy Zach Winters, works for BCW. At the time, I was the NWA Pacific Northwest champion. I had this thing. I get nervous when right when I'm about to go out and wrestle. So my music hits, I run to the bathroom and I go pee. 28 years in the business, I still do it. Literally did it my last show. Um, I run to the bathroom to go pee. And I come back and Zach goes, "Bro, let me show you this picture I took." I'm like, "Dude, not now, not now." I'm strapping the belt on my waist and stuff, the music playing. I'm strapping the belt on. I'm like, "Dude, not now, not now." He goes, "Look." And he puts his phone up. And remember the Shawn Michaels Playgirl picture?
Yes.
So Zach is laying on the golf. He's laying on a pool table we have in our locker room, and he's got a belt draped across his naked body. And look, and it's my belt as I'm going out the curtain. And he swats me in the ass and goes, "Have a good game, coach." And pushes me out the curtain. And I go out the curtain. I'm like, "This mother." And I was like, "Oh god, tickles on my belt." Yeah. So we pull ribs like that all the time. Yep.
Fuck. Which,
I
I mean,
got
by the way, I gotta ask, like, whether you've been recipient of or administered to, or just been kind of peripheral there, what is the greatest rib that you've ever seen in person?
okay. So the greatest rib that I've ever seen in person is something I did to Zach. Um, so Zach did the whole thing on my belt. I let it go for a while. I'm a cancer. We don't forget. I tell people I will die getting me back. So it is not Easter. Now this happened in February. No, January when he did that to me. This is not Easter. And we have a show, and my ex-wife and his wife, they're like best friends. You know, so they live in a little town further away. So my ex-wife was gonna go out to dinner with them, and I was like, "I'm tired. I'm going home." So Zach threw his bags in the car, and I was like, "I'm taking my car. I'm going home. You guys can bring her home when you guys get done, right?" So they all went to dinner, whatever, whatnot. So the next day is Easter Sunday. Now we run a show on Sunday, so Zach calls me, goes, "Dude, I can't find my bag. Should I leave it in your car?" And I'm like, let me go look." I go out to my car. It's in my car. I say, "Nah, bro, it ain't in my car." He goes, "Fuck, I gotta find my shit." I'm like, "I know. Have a good day." Hung the phone up, right? I'm like, "Yeah, this motherfucker's gonna get it." So what I do is I take my phone out. This is back when MySpace was around. I take my kids' chocolate Easter eggs and I take some toilet paper and I wipe on the toilet paper, right? Then I pull my pants down, I squat over his bag, and I dropped the toilet paper in his bag, and I took a picture of the toilet paper in the bag in my ass sticking out. So I was like, nope, that's not good enough. So I take some of the chocolate eggs and I smash them up and I put them in the bag. So I squat over the bag and take a picture, right? Now, this is before you can get in trouble for posting stupid shit online. So I post this picture in our little group of me
Right.
squatting over his bag with my ass out and the Easter eggs in the bag looking like shit. And I said, look what the Easter Bunny left me this morning. He fucking flips out. He's like, did you shit in
I
the
can only
bag?
imagine.
And I'm like, Randy Orton says hi.
Fuck.
Yeah, yeah. Or the time. Um, I don't know if I should tell this story. Okay, I'm gonna tell the story. But I'm not gonna say who it was.
Okay.
But it was a WPW show. I mean, a WPW weekend. We were wrestling in Santa Maria, and we meet these girls, and one of the guys was cock blocking the girls, and it's like, yeah, I'm the star, I'm a star, blah blah blah, and the girls were talking to me and another guy, so we didn't get these girls to come back to our hotel. They're gonna meet us at the hotel. So dude gets back with us. He's like, I'm gonna take a shower, get ready for these girls. So he jumps in the shower. And earlier that day, I hate ketchup. Earlier that day, he squeezed ketchup in my fucking shake. I didn't notice it. Stirred it up. I sucked it. Ugh, spit out ketchup in my strawberry shake. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get you back. So, a female wrestler who was in the WWE, well, a vampire gimmick. I'm not gonna say her name. A vampire gimmick. She had this can of Nair, right? We unscrewed and rolled it over. So I took the Nair and I took the ball out, so it's nothing but the juice. So dude's in the shower. He's like, I gotta shave and everything, right? He's like, I'm gonna shave everything. So I'm like, oh, okay, I got you, bro. So he goes, does anybody know where my shampoo and my stuff is? I'm like, oh, I got you, don't trip. I took the Nair and I poured it in the fucking shampoo and shook it up real good. Now, these girls come. They're hanging out. Now, we're guys, so it's not gonna really matter what this means to us, but for a woman, if a guy was to tell a woman that his penis was burning, he's not going to get anything, right? Because that would entail that he has like an STD or something. So he's in the shower shaving, and the girl's in the room, and all of a sudden you hear him scream, "Oh, my dick's on fire!" And he comes running out of the bathroom. Now I took all the towels out of the bathroom because I'm an asshole like
Right.
that. I took all the towels out of the bathroom, and he's running out. He's fanning himself like this, and I look at him, and I'm like, "Payback's a bitch." Yeah, rub the
Oh.
Nair. Just shaving himself down there and rub the Nair on his stuff, and yeah, kind of burn him a little bit.
Fuck. Ooh. I mean,
Mental note: don't fuck with me in the locker room. I am the king.
yeah. I mean, I did say fuck, but I mean, that's exactly what didn't happen that night for that.
Not for him.
Yeah. Oh, that's rough. That's so rough.
Oh man.
I mean,
Let's
you've
just
traveled
say
the road.
WPW was never the same again.
Shit. I mean, fuck. I mean, oh, that's rough. That's so rough. Now, I mean, obviously, in terms of your career, you've traveled, many roads, right? You've shed a lot of miles on various cars. Do you have any fun road stories?
um, LTP, Sexy Chino, and myself. We're driving from North Southern California to, I believe it was Fresno, towards Fresno.
Okay.
Mike Rain had a company. Him and Billy Blade were doing a show at this bar, and Modesto, hot ass Modesto. So we're driving, and Sexy Chino, he loved to drive. Chino always was the driver. He was always the driver. So we're driving, and We're falling asleep. Take 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, dark ass road, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the road, this fucking creature appears. We don't know what the fuck it is, and Chino hits it, and we like start freaking out. We jump. It wasn't like big, but it was about size maybe a coyote big, right? So we're
Right.
freaking. We jump out of the car. And Chino pulls out his flashlight. He's looking around. Nowhere to be found. We're looking at the car. No blood, no nothing, right? So we're like, did we imagine this? Maybe we did. We haven't been drinking or anything like that. So we get back in the car and we're driving again. Now we're coming back from the show. Maybe the same road again. I'm not really sure. But once again, wham! In the middle of the night, we hit it again. We're like, what the fuck is it? We jump out. We're looking for it again. So Chino has been writing a book
Yeah.
about our road trips, and he came to my mom's funeral. He flew. He came to my mom's funeral. And he was like, "Remember that one time we hit that mystery monster in the middle of the fucking street?" To this day, and that was like maybe 12, 13 years ago. We still don't know what it was. Or maybe there was one time we were in the WPW van. People who wrestlers who know WPW, Scott Loss, those guys, they all
Right.
rode in the white pickup van, right? It was like a 12-passenger van. Martin would take us everywhere in this van. We went to go wrestle in, I want to say in the Pomo, up in like by Santa Rosa, by Santa Maria.
Okay. Yeah.
It was for
Yeah.
Billy,
San Luis Obispo.
kind of like past there. It was for a
Okay.
Billy Blank company. It was CWA at the time before it became Vendetta or whatever it is now. So we're driving up there, and Martin goes, no, little Cholo goes, dude, Billy keeps blowing our phone up. Let's play a trick on him. So we get like maybe like a mile from the venue. Billy's blowing us up. Where you guys at? Where you guys at? Martin goes, bro, we fucking broke down in the middle of nowhere. And like we're stuck overnight. We don't know if we're gonna make it to the show or not. And I swear I thought Billy was gonna fucking burst into tears. He's like, the door's open in like an hour, and I have 5 guys here. What are we gonna do? We're like, dude, we're fucking right here. He, for a long time, Billy was like, I fucking hate you guys. I'm not gonna trust you guys until you guys are actually in my building. You can say you're not in the
Man.
street. I don't give a fuck. If I come out, you're not in the building. That's the only time I'm going to believe if you're standing in the building.
Ah, poor Cheetos. Poor sexy Cheeto.
Chino,
Uh,
Chino, Chino's won more battle royals than anyone I've ever met.
oh, for sure. But a quality human that guy is, But now, in terms of like places that you wrestled, you mentioned the Cow Palace. I mean, what has been your favorite or most memorable place to wrestle in your career?
Um, wow. Yeah, I wrestled a lot of places. Um, let's see. There's the biker rally I wrestled in Fresno with Blue Mac and LTP and Big Nasty. We wrestled the Poor Horseman. Um, Very interesting show because it was like a biker rally, and it was 4 black guys versus 4 white guys in Fresno at a biker rally.
Hmm.
Uh, it was interesting. We didn't die obviously, but we pushed the envelope. We pushed the envelope. And Willie. Willie likes to push the envelope. Watts did too. Um, I guess the Cow Palace was great because like it was like NWA history. Like Ray the Crippler Stevens wrestled there. He wrestled Ric Flair for the world title there. And like I said, that show was just chock full of people like superstars. And I felt like a superstar being on that show. Then there was a place in Germany for DWA. They have a big show like their WrestleMania is called Harley Nights. and it was a good show there. Um, fuck. I mean, I guess the Cow Palace would be it. I mean, it was like the last professional wrestling show at the old Cow Palace. So, yeah.
That's got to be, yeah. That's and I have yet to just go to the Cow Palace. Like, there's so much history that Roy Shire, kind of
Mhm.
Pat Patterson booking. Like, when I was living in the Bay, that's one of my biggest regrets is not going, to South San Francisco and checking that out, in its heyday. But everything is
It's
kind of
crazy. It's crazy, man. It's like you walk in there and you can feel, like you walk in there and I mean, as a fan, you walk in there and you can feel it. Like you can feel like the energy. But as a wrestler, you walk in there and it's like, wow, like you're in, like for me, I was in awe. I was like, dude, like I looked at LTP like, bro, we're here. Like Japan, Germany, that's great, but this we're here, bro. Like we're here, you know. So yeah, it was man. I get goosebumps thinking about it right now. It was crazy.
same here, same here. And again, like I have never actually been there. I think I remember my dad kind of, you could do this at the time, but like he was a musician and he had a band practice out there in South San Francisco. So he was just like, "Oh, let me take you by the Cow Palace," and he was like, "Oh, we're in the parking lot. I think you should drive." And there's like 6-year-old me in a van conversion, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I've driven around the Cow Palace. Thankfully, the Cow Palace is still standing,
Yeah.
so I didn't hit it. So
Well,
shout out, yeah,
that's your dad.
So
The only way that place is gone.
yeah. Now, obviously, I mean, we can't get out of here without talking about blue collar wrestling and BCW worldwide. Um, Talk to me about the existence of it and how did it get started?
Uh, man, funny story. BCW was started by myself, Tommy Celsius, and Tex Thompson. And Tommy Celsius' little apartment in Gresham, Oregon. Um, we have been working for various companies around the Northwest, and like just like there is in all of professional wrestling, there are cliques. And we got tired of working for a guy who would take the best wrestlers and put them in the shitty matches and book the shitty wrestlers in like the main events and the semi-main events and pay these guys like double what we were making when the fans were literally coming to see us. Like the fans would be like, I came to see Bad Blood. Once my match was over, those fans would leave. And if I'm like the first or second match on the card, you got like 4 other matches when no one's fucking there. You know? So we got tired of this promoter who thought he was Vince McMahon. Like literally, he just, I'm the man and I run this shit. It's mine, and I'm gonna do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I'm gonna book my daughter, who's had 2 days of wrestling training as the women's champion. I'm gonna book my son-in-law, who wrestled for like 2 months, and make him the heavyweight champion. And he can't run the ropes, but you know, he's the champ. It's, okay, whatever. So after dealing with this guy for so long, we were like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? We were like the elite back in the day. Like, let's start our own company. We have a ring. Let's find a place to run a show. So Tommy Celsius was like, hey, let's leave Portland because Portland is so oversaturated with wrestling. Let's go somewhere else and build something. So we went down to Hood River. So Hood River is like from LA to San Diego.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. So we go down there and we do like a two shows in one day. Our very first show, 7 people. Our second show, 12 people. Keep in mind, we did it on the same day. We had more people in the locker room than we had in the ring. I mean, in the crowd. So we moved back to Portland. We started doing shows, 20 people here, 30 people here. But we started attracting attention to people. Jason Aries, who's a referee in the WWE now, he's also a producer. He was working with Dragon Gate at the time. And he brought the Reyes brothers from Dragon Gate to wrestle for BCW. And it was his last match as a as an indie wrestler referee before he went to work for WWE. So he got to referee my match. It was fucking awesome having him in there. The guy is so talented. He knows so much about wrestling. Um, so we drew 25 people, then 30 people. Then I believe it was last year we celebrated our ninth anniversary. And our ninth anniversary just so happened to be the same day. And me and Raven were talking about that today in the Rubber Bullet Club group. Um, ooh, I wasn't supposed to say that name, huh? Oh well.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it. All right. Um, we had Ring of Honor was doing their Ring of no, yeah, we had Ring of Honor doing their show at Portland State College, which is 12 blocks from our venue. It was a live pay per view. We ran our show. They drew 125 people. We drew 410.
Wow.
It was to the point where Ring of Honor guys that I know were texting me like, "Bro, you ain't come check your show out." Like after our pay per view was over, we're come check your show out. Like we outdrew them. So from drawing 20 people to damn near drawing 400 people, and we draw 300 people consistently every week, 52 weeks a year. We never shut down. And I always say this, and it's so funny. We were talking about this the other day in our group. We've done everything. We've had BCW run a show the night that NXT Takeover Portland was going on, and we still drew 350 people that night. Um, with local guys, because we build storylines. We make our storylines so authentic and real to where people like latch onto it. One storyline we had, I was getting married, and me and my wife at the time had planned on going on our honeymoon after our wedding. So we had a storyline where I was like one of the top faces. I got attacked in my driveway, beat up, and this is back when MySpace was going. I got beat up so bad when I posted a video on MySpace, like under the guise of the promoter. Um, I was like, so bad blood has been taken to a local medical facility. We'll keep you updated. I got married when I was on honeymoon. I turned off my MySpace and didn't answer any messages. I turned my MySpace back on a week after I got home, and I had hundreds of messages. People were asking what hospital I was in and who attacked me and like why. And so when I made my return, I came back with a neck brace on and crutches and shit. And the guy who attacked me was in the ring. He was like, he turns to the fans and was like, I killed this guy. I take the fucking neck brace off, turn around, boom, kick him and hit him with my finisher. I'm like, I'm back, bitch. Crowd pop. Crazy. So BCW was a company that people were like, yeah, they won't last a month. They won't last 3 months. Here it is, 10 years later, we're not only lasting, but we're outdrawing everyone here in town. There's a promoter that brings in a lot of ex-WWE and Ring of Honor, and he spends thousands upon thousands of dollars and can only draw about 100 people a show. But here I am.
Wow.
Here we are, BCW, local guys, running every week, 52 weeks a year. We all draw everybody, and it's because we are. When we sat down and we made BCW, we said our company's going to be for the people, by the people, and that's what it is. That's why now that we're
That's
not running shows, like we're not running live shows, we're still doing the BCW Roundtable show. We put on matches, we bring guys on, we bring wrestlers on, podcasters on, people know about the business, and we just shoot the shit and we have fun.
yeah, 100%. And I gotta see. Obviously, a major component, especially over the last year or so, of BCW wrestling has been the podcast and BCW Worldwide. So, how did that start?
Myself and Tony DeBurn were sitting around, and the global pandemic happened, and BCW ran its last show, and I'm like, I don't want to lose our fan base. On our BCW website and our Facebook page, fans are even now. Hey man, when are you guys coming back? My Sunday nights are bare. what's going on? We need you guys back. And I'm like, well, shit, the governor says we can't do any shows. So the owners and I, we sat down and we were like, how can we keep the fans interested in BCW? So Tony DeBurn and I, we were like, hey, what can we do? And then I saw this According to Woods podcast. And I was like, you know what? That's a fucking good idea. Let's just let's talk to our fans every week. So we started doing a show called, it used to be called From the Vault. And what we did was we'd have a guy, he'd come on, he'd do a little spiel, and we'd show an old video. But we show the BCW's like beginnings, and we're like, so every week we pick like like 1 week to be tag team week, or 1 week to be like war games week, or 1 week to be like the best of, or we spotlight a wrestler.
Good.
So we were like, what can we do to make it more interactive? So we just started running the podcast. I was like, let's just do a Facebook Live. And then after a while, Facebook Live started getting crazy. We went to StreamYard. StreamYard allows us to broadcast on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So we're like, let's do it. So we started doing it. And then we're like, this is awesome. Let's do it again next week. Dude, let's just keep doing it. Here we are, 21 episodes in. We've showed a bunch of matches. We've had a bunch of wrestlers, referees, ring announcers, WWE guys, Ring of Honor guys. We've had you on there twice. Just random shit. And we play a game. The game is simple. It's team with, feud with, fire. And the premise of the game is you pick a person that you team with for your career, or a person you'd feud with, or a person you'd fire. And it wouldn't be like just a BCW group. It'd be like, I could team with someone from New Japan. I can team with someone in New Japan and feud with someone in Ring of Honor and fire someone at AEW. Or, or I can team with someone at WWE and feud with someone at AEW and fire Vince McMahon if I wanted to, or some shit like that, And it's just like, it's an interesting game. We were going to do a fantasy booking. If you can book your dream card, who would it be? What would your main event be? Like just things like that. And we get the fans involved. Like you've seen, like our chat, the fans are crazy. The fans will say some things that I'm like, whoa, did they really just say that? But I like it. And we tackle like real life events. Like we did a podcast the night after my mom passed away, and the guys were like, do you want to do this? And I'm like, my mom would want me to do this. So we all took a shot to my mom. we literally got drunk on the podcast. Like I have alcohol sitting next to me. I'm like, everyone take a shot. And we all took a shot. And every time we saw the referee sign guy, we'd take another shot. And every time someone take a bump, we took another shot. And before the hour was over, we were shit-faced drunk. But it was awesome because the fans were into it. I had fans messaging me after the show like, dude, I was drunk as shit watching your podcast. Like, oh, you played along? So I mean, it just like things are just steamrolling. Like life is just happening, man. And I mean, I'm truly enjoying everything that's going on right now. I mean, other than like not being able to wrestle in front of the crowd, because I still got to do like tomorrow. I'm doing a empty arena taping, and then I'll be in North Dakota doing an empty arena taping. Then I'll be in Northern California doing the empty arena taping for some shows. BCW Worldwide's 10-year anniversary was going to be an empty arena show here in Portland, but because of the global bastard, we are allowed to have combat sports here in Oregon. So what do? Everybody take a COVID test, and we're going to go to Northern California and do it.
I mean, literally bringing every aspect of the worldwide moniker to the people.
Yeah, and we do shows like all our guys travel, and what I'm going to start doing is like for me, I travel with the AIWF Championship everywhere. So if I'm in New York or I'm in New Jersey or I'm in Tennessee or Texas or fucking Canada or Mexico or Germany, I'm recording it and we're putting it on the BCW Worldwide channel or the YouTube channel. So you can actually see why we're worldwide. We're seen in 96 countries around the world. 91,000 homes in the state of Oregon watch us every week. We have like not just the YouTube channel, but we actually have like local television, we have statewide television, and then we have international television. So we're seeing everywhere, and we're the only indie company in the state of Oregon and Washington that actually can say that, yeah, we bust our ass. It's like, you know, I was told once before by Kevin Sullivan, it's a job until it becomes a job. And I said, what does that even mean? He goes, when it stops being fun, get out.
Get out. Yeah,
So I'm happy.
100%. And that's something that you're absolutely doing is still having fun almost 3 decades in, and I mean that's so amicable, and that's so, I mean, especially at a time like this where people are starting to try to figure out what the next move is, what the next step is, and you know it seems like eons ago, decades ago, that you kind of set in your mind, in your heart, that you were going to go on this path, and with your mother's support, and you know a bunch of like a reverse lemony snicket, right? A series of fortunate events. You started to go up and up, or now you're the elder statesman of the mat game.
Yeah, I'm old as shit. That was a nice way of saying you're the old ass now. But I got a lot of young guys that work with BCW. Guys like Just Exciting, who had a series of matches with TJP, fucking phenomenal. Go check them out. BCW Worldwide Television on YouTube. Um, like all these young guys, um, the Eric Wrights, the JB Moonshines, the Chris Brady's, the Rashad Tyson's, Real Talk, guys like that, um, guys that bust their ass, guys like Lone Star, guys like Tommy Celsius, Petrov, you know, guys that Mean Mac Traeger, you know, Meat, Big Vicious, Wonderful Zach Winners. These guys are carving their own niche in professional wrestling, and they're going places. And I feel like it's my job now because guys like Mondo Guerrero and Alex Knight and Rey Mysterio Sr. and Oscar, Rey Mysterio Jr., those guys gave to me. King Fabiano, Bronx Bomber, those guys gave to me. Jesse Hernandez, um, they all gave me the rub. So now it's my turn to give it to somebody else. And that's the thing now. A lot of vets don't. A lot of young guys don't see that the vets are actually trying to pass the torch to them because they're to actually getting over the product and getting over everything. So if you're watching and you're a young wrestler trying to come up in this business, I always give people 3 words of advice. The first word of advice: stand back. What I mean by stand back, don't try to be the center of attraction. Don't try to be the top dog. Don't try to be the guy. Shut up. Sit down. Walk in the room. You sit down. You shut up and you listen to guys. My greatest, I sat under the learning tree with Kevin Sullivan, and that's a guy who was the guy who beat WWE in the Monday Night Wars all those fucking weeks. He knows what the fuck he's talking about. So I sit back and I listen to those guys. Um, and I shut up and learn. Like, these guys have been around the block, and I'm nobody. You know, the only reason I'm at where I'm at today is because I listen to those guys. And the one final thing that I can say before we get off of here: listen. Just listen, because you're gonna learn something. I've been in this business 28 years, and I learn something every time I'm in the ring. I learn something every time I'm talking. I learned something tonight. Every time I'm talking to a guy that's been in business for a while or a guy who's just starting a business, you learn something new every day. If you know everything in this business, your mother's fucking drop dead because there's nothing else for you. So remember those three things, and I guarantee you will go far in the business. I mean, and for me personally, you are your own brand. No one's gonna buy your shit. No one's gonna go to no one's gonna go to fucking prowrestlingtees.com/Brady2G and buy my shirts if I don't tell them that. No one's gonna go to www.503originals.com, buy my hoodies, hats, tank tops, all that shit unless I tell you that. No one's gonna go to my Facebook, the Bad Blood brand, my Twitter, Bad Blood brand, my TikTok, Bad Blood brand, the Bad Blood brand on Instagram. No one's gonna go to those places and subscribe and add me as a friend. No one's gonna do all those things if I don't tell them. You gotta promote yourself because you are your own product. Look at the Bucks. The Bucks fucking with the Hot Topic. Now they got buku shitload of money from Hot Topic. Like, and then Pro Wrestling Tees. AEW is a t-shirt company. Well, they may be a t-shirt company, but they're fucking filthy rich because look at the shit they've done. It's just simple business, man. You gotta look at this as a business. Stop looking at it as a hobby. Because if it's a hobby, get out.
No, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. It's the old wrestling kind of euphemism. You know, if you're a heel, you make them boo you out the building, want them to slash your tires and what have you,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're a baby face, you want them to throw babies in the air and just love and kiss you on the way to the squared circle. But if you're not making any waves at all, when the crowd is absolutely silent, it's time to find a new occupation.
Yep.
Absolutely, my man. So, where can they find more? Well, first off, I mean, 28 years in the business. Obviously, there's a litany of people that have helped you get here. Let's get some shout outs out of the way.
Shout out to Bill Anderson, Kevin Sullivan, Rey Mysterio Sr. and Jr., Tim Talltree, the Bronx Bomber, Dan Fabiano, the Ballards, Kevin Quinn, um, Christopher Daniels, uh, Tim Storm. Tim Storm, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, helped me realize my dream, and I challenged Tim Storm for the NWA World title live on pay-per-view in front of my mom. That was like the highlight of my life here in Portland, Oregon, other than my daughter being born. Um, Shout out to the BCW locker room. Just everyone and anyone that's ever helped me get to where I am today. Thank you very much. Because if it wasn't for you, this kid from LA would probably not be where I am right now. I probably wouldn't be here right now, to be honest. I'll just shoot straight with you. My little brother LTP, always by my side, right or wrong, always put me in my place. Willie Mack, you sarcastic son of a bitch, I love you. Sexy Chino, every weekend. Chino Wood Strip Club, it's his birthday. Um, my boy Woods, shout out to the Rebel Bullet Club. Yeah, just like I said, any and everyone that's ever gotten me somewhere in this business, whether you liked me or you didn't like me, whether we're friends or we got fucking heat, whatever it is, whatnot, thank you very much. And to quote the phrase of a very amazing man who helped me understand the game before I walked out of it, the late great Yokozuna told me, good press, bad press, whatever it is, they're still fucking talking about you.
Damn right, damn right. And to keep I'm gonna borrow a euphemism from one George Hermosa, but to keep the wrestling chatter going, right? Where can they find That Blood and BCW on social media?
All right, social media. You can find me at the Bad Blood Brand. That is BADDBLOODBRAND on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, even on fucking Snapchat. You can find me also on the TikTok. My daughter, she got me hooked on that. I swear to God, it's like just craziness. BCW Worldwide, you can find BCW Worldwide on YouTube. at BCW Worldwide Television. Don't be lazy and put TV. Actually spell out the word television on YouTube. BCW Worldwide. You can find us on Instagram, same thing. BCW Worldwide. Facebook, same thing. Live every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can find us on the BCW Worldwide channel. You can find. I urge you, if you're watching this right now, do me a solid. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Okay, because if you don't, you're gonna miss out on a lot of cool shit. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. I promise you, you will not regret it.
Damn right. I'm subscribed. You should too. And yeah, man. If you so choose, you probably already subscribed to me, but if you could, that would help me greatly. I'm just saying. But dude, this has been an honor and a privilege. I've been a fan of yours and a friend of yours for quite a while, so I'm glad that we're able to do this. And thank you for
Hey,
having me on BCW Worldwide, my man.
hey, thank you very much for joining us every week, man, and keep doing the good work, man. A lot of people they have a lot of good things to say about According to Woods, and I'll tell you right now, I put you over constantly. This website, I mean, this podcast, um, you're doing good work, man. Don't ever doubt yourself. You're doing way good work.
Again, from a 28-year veteran, that I mean, again, I'm humbly touched. So
Oh, and that
thank
shirt is
you,
pink, by the way. That shirt.
Th- th- thank you, my brother.
All
Well,
right.
thank you guys for watching us here. He is the franchise player, Bad Blood. I am According to Woods, and we are out.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang.